Hi guys, welcome to Rossi Audio. Um, this video is more like where can I find vintage or used audio or audio in general. I have been asked a lot where I find my stuff and where I buy my equipment from. Um, well, I use a lot of different venues when I go out and hunt for things that I want. And it is kind of a time consuming job, or not job but activity. I spend hours and hours every week scouring internet and other possibilities and other venues that I can go to. So it is, when you are in this business of buying and selling and kind of fixing up and do stuff like that, it is a lot of work behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. But where you can find it, well, the easiest place to find it, of course, is to look online. You have places like eBay, Craigslist, OfferUp, LetGo, Facebook Marketplace, and I'm sure there's more apps out there. So you can use those, and those are pretty simple. You sit down and you can either do it on your phone or you can do it on your computer, and you'll find a huge selection, of course. So you can take a lot of the work that goes behind buying and things. You can take a lot of the work out of the equation by going online. The drawback about doing it online is that you can't see, if you do it on eBay at least, is that you can't see the product up in person. So you kind of rely on the seller being honest and truthful about the condition. If you're looking for something that you can repair and restore, not a problem. But if you're looking for something that is plug and play, ready to go, maybe restored already or something like that, then it becomes a little bit more shaky, because you kind of have to trust someone you don't know. The other drawback is it has to be shipped. And when we're talking about vintage audio equipment, a lot of that is heavy, they're big, and they demand proper packing. And I tell you, from experience, I got this one last week, and I got one just like it. I got two of the same model from two different sellers. None of them had a clue on how to pack it. This one arrived broken, and the other one, pure luck that it didn't break. So shipping is another kind of negative or a con for buying online. But then again, you have sellers online who do a really good job of packing. But I tell you, there's a lot of sellers on eBay that have no clue on how to pack. I bought a 10-inch subwoofer from certain Vega brand, and it's in here in my cabinet, and seller didn't know how to pack it, and it is busted. The magnet is shocked out of place. The voice coil is busted in there. It's because it didn't pack it correctly, so it had put pressure on the cone and the surround. And in fact, the frame of the subwoofer broke off. A piece of about 1.5 inches long broke off. So buying online, you have to trust someone you don't know, and shipping can be a bad thing. However, if you find the right buyer online and you get a good shipper and someone who knows how to pack, then it's not a problem. But the next thing is, of course, Craigslist, and that's more local. You can meet people and do business that way. At least you can go and see the product in person, and you can decide if you want it or not before you fork out any money. The drawback with Craigslist is there's a lot of scammers on Craigslist. So if you have an ad on Craigslist, like let's say want to buy, you can be contacted by a lot of scammers. If you are a seller and you sell on Craigslist, you get 10, 20 messages each day from someone that wants to send their shipping forwarder because they're not in town right now or something like that, and there's a lot of scams going on. But every now and then, things are good. The other drawback with Craigslist, I don't know if it has so much to do with audio equipment, but it's kind of related. Here in Memphis, we have had 3 people being shot. I think one died, one got killed by selling an iPhone on Craigslist. So I used to sell a lot on Craigslist, but not so much anymore, because after those 3 robberies where one ended up with a fatality, I said, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. And I sure don't want these hoodlums to come on my door, so I have always met people in a public place. But that was what happened with these guys with the cell phones too. The last one is 10 minutes away from my house, and I live in one of the better areas in Memphis. And they met at a McDonald's on a very, very busy, along a busy road, with a huge Kroger right behind it, with a big parking lot with a lot of people, and yet they got shot and robbed. So that's the drawback about Craigslist. OfferUp and Letgo is a little bit better because you can see a profile. The same with Facebook Marketplace, you can see a profile, but of course it is easy to fake a profile, so you never know. But in most times you can see their profiles, and you can kind of get a vibe and a feeling for if you want to do a transaction or not. I haven't found too much of what I'm looking for on OfferUp and Letgo. I've been on there for like 6, 7, 8 months, and what I see most is clothing and shoes, cars and stuff like that, household stuff. I don't see too much audio stuff, and when I see something, it is cheap shit that I don't want. That brings me to Facebook Marketplace. It's the same thing. A lot of baby stuff, a lot of cars, trailers, stuff like that, household furniture, appliances, and of course there's some guitars and amps like that and drum sets, but the audio equipment that is on there is not what I'm looking for. It's the black plastic crap from late 80s and in through the 90s. Sometimes, every now and then, I find a good thing there, but it's long in between on Letgo and OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. Those 3, you have to be kind of like patient, because it doesn't come up that often. I'm not saying that there's nothing there. There is something there, but it's really, really not what I'm looking for, and it's bad quality. So, the last one is picking. Not like you see on TV, but more like I have been known to a big crowd to what I do, and they contact me and we set up a mutual agreement on things, and over time we develop a relationship, buying, selling, and every time they get something in, they contact me, and that was kind of me going out and do the picking job in the beginning. So now, more or less, they contact me. So that's a very, very good way to do it, because one, you're dealing with people you kind of know, and depending on how long you've been doing business with them, but some you maybe know a little bit and some you know a lot. So that's a good thing. The bad thing is they use eBay and all these other online apps to value their equipment. And sometimes they forget that, hey, I'm not the end user, I'm not the end buyer. I am buying this from you to flip it. I am very up and honest about it. I flip equipment. I'm not telling them that I'm going to buy it for myself and try to haggle the price that way, but I say, hey, you got to leave some meat on the bone for me too, because I am the process of selling it. And most of the time these guys, they just get it in, they don't clean stuff, they don't do stuff like that, so I have to go in and start cleaning and fixing up and maybe do some re-veneering and vinyl veneer and stuff like that. So they can be a little bit heavier on the price than other places. The last thing that I use, I'm sure there's many other things you can do, but the last option that I do is, and I've been doing this for 10 years, it has been my main job and main income, and it still is a big part of my job to kind of like finance what I'm doing with the audio business and Bad Dog Speakers. And this is storage auctions, like you see on TV, Storage Wars. I've done it for many years. I did it before the TV show came on, and no, it's nothing like the TV show at all. A lot of work and a lot of crap, and you deal with a lot of stupid people in many ways, in many levels. So it's a very ungrateful job, but that's where I find a lot of stuff. In the past, I used to buy units like everyone else. I went out to auctions. I was supposed to go today, but they only had 11 units spread on 5 locations. I don't want to drive that distance and spend gas on that. So I'm going to go tomorrow, and they have 36 units on 5 locations. That's a better ratio of maybe getting a unit per cost of gas. Now that gas is $2.30 a gallon. But when I go out now, I mean, in the past, yes, I bought units like everyone else. I could look in there and say, nice sofa, nice dining room set, nice bedroom set, and all that stuff, and I would buy it. Now, the last 2 years, I haven't been doing many auctions because of my health. I didn't go to any auction. I think I went to two auctions during those 2 years, and I bought 1 unit, because that was all I could do. And I was pretty exhausted after that 1 unit. So for the last 2 years, I've more or less been home. When I go out now and do the storage auctions, yes, I do buy some units that doesn't have any audio equipment in it, because I have to have 1 or 2 units a month that can give me some, replenish my pocketbook, my pocket and my wallet. So some units that I buy that is not audio related, but now more or less I go out and I look for audio equipment, and then especially vintage audio. But of course, if I see newer stuff, I buy that too, because you never know. So now I'm more specialized when I go out to storage auctions, and I'm looking for audio equipment and collectibles and stuff like that, and that's where I get a lot of my stuff from. So I have people who call me that I have set up relationships with over the years, and they are doing the work themselves. They go out and they buy stuff, and one guy, he buys equipment from companies that goes out of business. He goes to bankruptcy auctions and stuff like that. So that's how that works. And then he calls me, and I get the first dip on the products. So I have a lot of people like that who calls me like that. And of course, I have set up agreements with other storage auctions buyers that I compete against. So if they buy a storage unit, and I don't get it, but they get it, I always tell them, hey, if there's any audio equipment in there, you know who to contact, and they contact me, and they give me a fair price, and I get it that way, and I clean it up and I resell it. So that's how I get my stuff. How you can get your stuff, you can probably do the same thing like eBay, Letgo, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Put an ad out that you want to buy this kind of stuff, and sooner or later you will start dipping into things. That's all of it, I guess. If there's anything you want to know, just shoot me a message, and I will try and answer it the best way I can. I can't really give you any good tips which one is the best. because it's different from different places, and what works for me here where I am maybe doesn't work for you where you are, but there's other things that works for you that doesn't work for me or will not work down here. And of course it depends on where you live. Some areas have more of this stuff than other areas. Memphis has always been considered a very poor city. I live on the outskirts. I live in the county, but 2 minutes to the city line of city limits of Memphis. But Memphis has always been kind of like a poor town in general. You have areas in Memphis that are rich and have wealthy people, but most of the wealthy people live either in Germantown, Collierville, Olive Branch, Arlington, and stuff like that. And here in Cordova, you have a few areas. But when you go inside the city limits of Memphis, there's a couple of places inside the city limits that have rich neighborhoods and people with huge income. But that makes Memphis such a place where when you find something, you will most likely find the cheaper, the smaller things. Like when I find vintage audio in my units, I find the smaller receivers most of the time, smaller speakers, the cheaper speakers. If you live in areas like Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Nashville, Dallas, Houston, stuff like that, then you have a bigger population, and a lot of those people have a wealthier way of living, and it has been for many, many, many years and decades. So it all depends on where you live. Beside that, there's not much more tips and info I can give you. You just have to go out and start looking, and you have to be active. It's not going to come to you. It's not going to dump right into your lap. So you have to go out and look for it. And what I mean by go out is either go online or go outside and physically start looking. Nothing is going to fall down into your lap and just poof, oh, a receiver or some speakers. That starts to happen after you have taken the first step to acquire these type of products. And start by putting an ad on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, offer up and let go, like put in I want or wanted or something like that, and see if you get any hits. I'm sure you will, because I have, and right now I have a steady stream of things coming in, and it wasn't like that in the beginning. So you just have to go out there and look. So until next time, have a great day.